All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. In this one, we're going to be going through a little bit about the buy schedule again and just touching back on that. I've had a bunch of questions on this. I've kind of been mentioning it in a few of my videos, just saying that we're round 5 now. Yeah, the first bunch of rounds is not too important to think about the buy schedule, especially this year, just given the fact there's only two rounds that have buys, and we see that here in round 13, half the teams have a buy, and then round 17, the other half has the buy. And what I want to talk about is the types of guys that you might have in your team that might be cash cows that are starting to get closer to peaking. It might be those mid ranges that you're like, oh, they're doing okay, but I'd prefer to move them up to a Fafita, a Crichton, or these type of players, for example, or get a gun center or wing fullback in. It just might be worth just thinking twice about it as to if you're going to trade them or not. And I think from every round here on out, so obviously you're coming to round 6 and 6-7 rounds to go until the first buy round. And what you want to think about is in that round 13, when half the teams have a buy, the best coaches in our game will be fielding close to a 17. And it won't be all filled with guns, obviously, but it's going to be mixed with a bunch of these, cash cows that have peaked. And the smarter ones will hold on to some of these guys, even if they feel like they have peaked in price. And they might be these guys that are around that 40-point average kind of score, and it's like, okay, yep, they've built up to 550, 600k, and it's like, having them in that round could keep could get you an extra 150, 200 points over some other coaches in the game, and could be really helpful in propelling your rank forward, and then doing really well. And the other thing it really helps you with is just getting to, it's going to help you get to your final squad a bit easier by holding a bunch of these trades at this time of the year. So you can see if you're going to hold those guys into that round 13 buy, it means you're using less trades here, and then you can use a bunch of them in that first one to get close to your gun 17, and then do it again do it again in round 17 to get, to trade heavy, then to get to that, gun 17 in that round 17, and then trade hard after that to get your final 17 is what I meant to say. So, that's kind of stuff's really important. I just wanted to go through a few of these guys in here now in some of these teams. So we're skipping that first 8 teams there, which are in the red for the buys, and then we move on to the bottom 8. And some of these guys that I'd be thinking about holding on to in that round 13, and then looking to possibly trade them out in round 14 if you need to. We'll start with the Eels guys, and that's someone like Tom Opacek, who I don't think is an out-and-out keeper in the centres, but is doing a decent job. For me, I have him in my side, and I plan to hold him until that first buy round, move him on in round 14 for a gun centre who might be playing in the round 17 buy. And you look at players in the Warriors, Dogs, Sharks, Rabbitohs, Raiders, Eagles, Cowboys, and Roosters from there on. I think that would be a really important one to think about there, going ahead. So Opacek and Fergo are the two guys there that if you have them, I'd be holding on until that point. And then some of the guys that play that round 13, they probably aren't going to play Origin. Madison, Mitch Moses, you got Nathan Brown, possibly. You got Dylan Brown there. You got Isaiah Papali'i. You got Reid Mane, and also Gutho. So there's a lot of different players in that Eels team, which could be a smart one to bring in. If you're thinking about those kind of guys coming up into the next few rounds, then that could be really cool to bring in then. And if they are doing well and they happen to have a not go as well, close to around 15, 16, then you could move them on for a gun in that plays round 17, for example. But that's an option there. Panthers guys I'd be looking to hold is Bomarovsky, Stephen Crichton I'd be holding at this stage, and also Spencer Leniu. So someone that you could, these guys, all except for Mommy, you could trade them on at this stage, but it's like, is it worth it? If you find someone if you find a really good cash cow, or you can trade them up to an out-and-out gun that you might need, then you can trade them. If not, I feel like it's worth just holding on to them. And then guys you'd look and possibly trade in on the gun side, or Abby Coruscant when he comes back. Isaiah Yeo might not play Origin, not sure if he does. You got Dylan Edwards, and then Jerome Luai. Again, might play Origin also, but some options there. Tigers next, we got Stefano Tukumanu. He is doing really well at the moment, making some cash, and he could be, he'll probably peak around round 8 or round 9, somewhere there. But for him, it's probably worth holding him until that round 14. You can trade him on then, once he's made all his cash and scored for you in that round 13. Dane Laurie is another one that's going to be a perfect upgrade, to a Ponga. These types of guys, not long after that first buy. Then you got Little and Musgrove as well as some other decent options to hold at this stage. So, still making money over the next few weeks, and then holding him and scoring fairly well over that would be ideal. Then some guns to think about: Alex Twal, Nofaluma, and also Adam Dewey. Some decent options there. On the Broncos side, you got Tessie New, who might not be playing this week, but should at some point, you'd imagine. So if he continues to play, he could be worth holding on to. Jermaine Asako and also Jordan Ricky. Both you could possibly hold them if you need to, but I just wanted to give some options there for those that you might want to. And same with like Turpin, he's worth holding on at least until the 13 game. Go from there. Pat Carrigan's a decent option after he loses a bit of cash, I'd imagine. Then we move to the Dragons, and someone like Alvaro, you've got Fulmayano, and you've got Jack Bird, I think are all really good holds over this next sort of 7 to 8 rounds before moving them on, possibly, unless Bird becomes a keeper centre there. And then Zach Lomax and Andrew McCulloch are really good guys to try and bring in over the next bunch of weeks, or just before that round 13 bye, when they'll be playing. Titans, I don't really have any cash cows that I think you should be holding at this stage, but then you got a bunch of guns. Fodawaker is someone to think about. AJ Brimson, I'm really thinking about at this stage if he doesn't play Origin. Fogs, Kelly, Thompson, and Peachy. So all really good options in your guns category. Storm, you've got Remus Smith, who I'd potentially just hold as cover, and then Olam as well. I'd probably hold until that round 14 number. Jerome Hughes is someone to think about going forward, as he won't be playing Origin, and it hasn't scored amazingly at the start, but could improve from where he's at now. And the last one with the Knights, I'd be definitely holding Connor Watson until that round 14, and you can reassess from there. And then Clemmer and Brayley. Clemmer didn't make the Origin last year, and he probably won't again. And Jaden Brayley will be the same thing. So, someone who's really important in that first round 13 bye. So, there you go, guys. That's the thoughts on that one there. And, let me know what your plans are with some of these guys. Obviously, these last week and some, the weeks following this, there's not a lot of cash cows that are doing really well, or are really standout like the Schusters and the Walkers and that were. So for me, I think it's worth holding these guys a bit longer. And if a bunch of injuries come along and a great cash cow comes up, then you could probably trade these guys to them. But just be aware of where that new player is going to be playing. Are they going to miss round 13? So like, are you going to be trading a guy that will be playing round 13 for a cash cow that isn't? You got to think of that. You're losing, you might be losing 40 to 50 points and a trade for that one there. So you got to make sure that each one of those trades are worth it going forward. And the first bunch of weeks is all about making sure that your team's scoring well and making money. And then from then, each and every trade is really important. And this is where you see a lot of the average coaches that have started well. You see them fall away, and the good coaches, even if they had a poor start, like even like myself would say, I'm starting to come back slowly now, but I'll end up in that top 1,000, by the end of the year because of a lot of the average trades that these guys are going to make. My brother's a special for it every year. It starts really good. He's pretty lucky with that stuff, and then he'll make 4 to 5 trades over the year that kind of stuff him up, and he ends up falling away to like 5,000-6,000 as a standard. So I've already passed him after I think he was like ranked 600 at the start of the year. So. There you go. That's my thoughts on that one, guys. Let me know what you think around the bye schedule. Obviously, it's pretty early to be thinking about this kind of stuff, but the best coaches will be thinking about it. In terms of your top line guns, make sure you're going for your Fafita and all these types of guys, because the points they're getting over this next bunch of weeks is worth them being out for the 2. Previous years there's been 3 bye rounds. This year with only 2, it's not going to be as hard a schedule to get through. Before it was like, with 3 big bye rounds and a couple of small bye rounds, it'd be like, all right, if you could have 15 strong players across the 3 big ones, and then, pretty much get a 17 or have 18 available for the other smaller bye rounds, and that was good. So this year, I'd imagine the best coaches would be getting close to that 17 mark. So yeah, let me know what you think on those ones, guys. Hope you really enjoyed that one and you got a lot out of it. And if you did, please hit like, hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we'll go from there. Have a good week, guys. We'll see you soon.